Bullets are the ones that scare me.
Now you're going back after breakfast.
We got to go eat breakfast, look at the next mission, and get ready for the next go.
The Wild Weasel's mission was not over after the first attack. They have continued to fly missions throughout the campaign to protect the other aircraft. Here, the F-4G Wild Weasels of the 35th Tactical Fighter Wing prepare for another mission over Iraq. The sophisticated HARM anti-radar missiles are carefully loaded under the wing of each aircraft taking part in the mission. The air defense suppression phase of the attack proved much more successful than anyone anticipated. Losses among the later waves of attack aircraft were remarkably low due to the effectiveness of the Wild Weasels and their Navy and Marine counterparts. This success was due to the close attention paid to this difficult mission by both the United States Air Force and Navy as a result of the Vietnam War. The lessons of the air war over Vietnam, as well as later air battles in the Mideast in 1973 and 1982, convinced the Air Force to organize a complex force of aircraft to deal with the growing threat of radar-guided anti-aircraft weapons. This consists not only of anti-radar Wild Weasels, but radar-jamming planes such as the Raven and the Prowler, and specialized stealth aircraft such as the F-117 Blackjet. In spite of their success in weakening the Iraqi defenses, there was no sense of complacency. The Wild Weasels continued their missions throughout the air defense campaign. For the air campaign to succeed, air superiority had to be won. The first phase of the air superiority battle was fought by fighter aircraft like this F-15 Eagle of the 1st Tactical Fighter Wing. The fighters flew combat air patrols, nicknamed CAPs, to protect the Wild Weasels and attack planes from Iraqi fighters. The United States Air Force's F-15s were joined in their mission by Saudi F-15s, British Tornadoes, and U.S. Navy F-14 Tomcats. Their potential opposition was over 400 Iraqi fighters, including sophisticated Soviet-built MiG-29 Fulcrums and French-built Mirage F-1s. No one could predict whether the Iraqi fighters would prove much of a threat to the multinational air forces. Captain Steve Tate was involved in one of the first dogfights of the war in the early morning hours of the 17th of January.
We were in the, took a 4-ship F-15s up on the first wave that went up to Baghdad area last night, took off at 1:30. We were basically supporting a SEAD package of a bunch of Wild Weasels and a bunch of F-15Es and just an assortment of other airplanes, EF-111s and F-111s that were going up to the southeast portion of Baghdad. Basically what our job was to go up there and remove all the air-to-air threats for them. EF-111s put out a bunch of jamming to try to take down a bunch of early warning radars and those kind of things. The Wild Weasels, the F-4Gs, they go in there and they take out all the ground threats, the SAM threats rather, that we were worried about, and then the F-111s and the F-15Es and all the other strikers put the bombs on target. So it's a coordinated effort. That's what we did. The mission lasted about 4 hours. Took off out of here at 1:30 in the morning, like I said. We had a push time of about 3:15 local. Went up north at about 3:50. We were on target in southeast Baghdad. AWACS also is a big hand in all this. They were the big CCC command and control of everything. They were telling us exactly what was going on, what airplanes were looking at us, coming at us, and the numbers. It really worked out well. AWACS did an extremely good job. As we go up north, we hit our target area, our cap point. We started capping for them. There was really no air-to-air threats up at the time, just a few intermittent hits, and then they were probably either landing right back away, trying to hide, or trying to go to dispersal bases if they could find them. Once we got up into the cap area, we needed to clear out an airfield in southeast Baghdad for F-111s doing a big strike on there, and Wild Weasels were also the big important reasons to get the SAMs knocked down. We get up there at about 3:50, like I said. We started a engagement. I got the contact that AWACS calls out as a hostile chasing my number 3 man, and at about the same time I'm turning back around towards the east. When I turn back around there, I get a contact on a contact that isn't squawking our IFS, so when I lock this guy up, I can tell that he's not a friendly airplane. Come to find out that it's an F-1. He's at about 8,000 feet headed west towards Baghdad, towards my number 3 and 4 men also, and we EID him as hostile. About 12 miles, I take a Fox 1, a radar missile. Everything's looking good. Thinking about taking another Fox 1, but no kind of interference or anything like that, so I just let one Fox 1 go. And about 4 miles in front of me, get a huge fireball. When he blew up, I could see pieces of the airplane blowing up. Obviously, it was at night. I couldn't see if a parachute or anything like that. It was a huge fireball. I don't anticipate anybody getting out of that.
The only Iraqi fighters to appear in significant numbers were their 2 best types, the MiG-29 Fulcrum and the Mirage F-1. The Iraqis put up very little resistance in the first weeks of the air campaign, and over 20 fighters were shot down with no Allied losses.
Well, so far it's been a big surprise that the Iraqi Air Force has not done anything, basically. They've come up to be shot down. Apparently, most of the aircraft are underground. And at the first week of the war, we're hearing things from the military briefers that 80% of the aircraft are still intact in hardened shelters. Therefore, it's been a non-player. And the dogfights have been fairly straightforward. Go to the 6 o'clock and shoot them down. The only double kill of the war has been a Saudi pilot who caught 2 F-1s with Exocet. He apparently had no trouble in downing them both.
This is what the Saudi F-15 pilot saw through his gun sight during the dogfight.
Target, bandit, bandit.
Tiger 20, confirm bandit.
That's a farm, bandit, bandit.
Tiger 20, say ID of bandit.
Roger, bandit, boss, target destroyed, boss, target destroyed.
Copy, both flash.
That's affirmative.
The MiG-29 is an exceptionally capable airplane. It is, right now, in my opinion, the finest dogfighter that the Soviets have produced in the modern generation. But it's the training that drives this war so far. And you can put an ill-trained pilot in a very capable airplane and put him up against a well-trained pilot in an old airplane, and the well-trained pilot always wins. It is almost always the case that training makes the difference. So it tells me that they're not using